And on this sunny Silverstone summer Sunday, welcome to our home. Not just Martin and I's home, but the home of the Formula One World Championship, the place where it all began, where Ferrari weren't here on the 13th of May 1950, but they've been making up for it ever since, and where they start on pole today on a track where they've taken 14 victories in the past. Here we go then, this is what we've all come to Silverstone for. The British Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go. Sainz gets away well, as does Lando Norris, as does Lewis Hamilton, who's already ahead of Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen into Abbey, takes the lead, ahead of Carlos Sainz, and at the back that's George Russell, out of this race, who's finished in the top 5 in every race this season, but he's out by the time they get to turn 1. Off the track there goes Charles Leclerc, and rounds the corner Lewis Hamilton, battling away with Charles Leclerc, who's on the inside, and the red flag has now come out to make racing redundant. There's the initial content. That's where the car then is upside down onto the gravel, and then it flips and tries to right itself, and as it does so, that's by the barriers, and then it goes over the tyre barrier. And is it Gasly that makes the contact?
Basically, George was coming a little bit left, and they pincered Gasly in the middle, and it's immediately just the face of the tyre contact has just flipped the car completely over.
Stefano Domenicali in conversation with Joe Guanyu, making sure he's okay. Sebastian Vettel goes into the back of Alex Albon. Alex Albon, I think, then makes contact with Esteban Ocon.
Incredible, we only lost, at the moment, 3 cars in this incident.
So here is Alex Albon now, and he gets the tap, nothing he can do, sent into the barriers, just avoids Daniel Ricciardo, and I think then makes contact with Esteban Ocon. What's going to happen second time around? Here at Silverstone, British Grand Prix, lights out, away we go. They weren't held for long. Sainz comes over to cover off Verstappen, almost pushing him into the pit wall, but he might have to yield this. Does make the move around the outside and stays ahead. Sergio Perez now challenging down the inside. Hamilton's dropped a place or 2, and he's now tangling with Charles Leclerc. It's Carlos Sainz out in front, down the inside. Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez make contact. Sainz from Perez, then from Verstappen, then Leclerc, then comes Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton, and Lando Norris now going wheel to wheel with the Mercedes. Sainz into Brooklands he goes. Leclerc tries to go around the outside of Max Verstappen and goes off the track in the process.
That's the second time they've made contact in this lap alone. A much better restart then for Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton, unlucky that he got put back into his original grid slot, and he's side by side through Woodcote.
He was side by side, he's now behind Lando Norris. As into Copse we go, there is damage to that front wing of Sergio Perez Red Bull, and quite severe damage too. And now towards Maggots and Beckett's we go. Hamilton is behind Lando Norris in 6th, then comes Gasly, Alonso, Latifi and Tsunoda. Perez leading Norris, leading Hamilton around Brooklands and into Luffield. Now is Hamilton poised to strike back at Lando Norris.
Then they need to clear Perez. Perez will be slow with this damaged front wing. He'll lose a good dozen seconds if they have to change that. And you can see on the right-hand side, that then affects the airflow all the way down the side of the car, and so it doesn't energize the under tray as well. So Perez will be losing downforce all round, particularly at the front.
He's all okay on the car?
So we lost the right side end plate, front end plate, missing 5 points.
Perez now comes into the pits. That frees up the McLaren and the Mercedes.
He has to come in and get that fixed.
Right, DRS for Hamilton, not for Norris this time around. Hamilton gaining on Norris, and as we get into Brooklands by the BRDC clubhouse, you can hear the cheers as one British driver overtakes another, and Hamilton's up to 4th. Sergio Perez with the fastest lap. Trouble for Sergio Perez, he's 36 seconds behind your race leader Carlos Sainz at the moment, but after a change of tyres onto the mediums, going very nicely indeed. He got damage on his front wing after tangling with Charles Leclerc. I think Leclerc bashed him not once but twice. Ooh! Carlos Sainz going off onto the grass there. I thought he recovered it, but he hadn't recovered it sufficiently. Verstappen sees the error by Carlos Sainz and swoops into the lead at the start of the hangar straight. Verstappen, the championship leader, now ahead of Carlos Sainz, and the Ferrari, whether it was caught out by an errant gust of wind here at Silverstone or not, well, it was vulnerable at the start of that straight, and Sainz could do nothing to keep Verstappen at bay. Let's just see what happened with the two Alpha Tauris here. Whoa, Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly rather tripping over each other.
It's the car, Yuki.
Synchronized spinning.
And not to any great effect. Tsunoda on the inside of Pierre Gasly, and both Alpha Tauris having the misfortune there, tumbling down the order.
Now Ferrari need to either say stop fighting and get off after Verstappen as fast as you can, or swap them around. They need to make that decision very early on.
Because the more they leave it, the longer Max Verstappen has to build more of an advantage out in front.
Verstappen's
in
very
trouble.
slow.
Either he's got off the track or he's got a problem with the car, because Carlos Sainz, who 2 laps ago lost the lead to Max Verstappen, is now going to retake the lead, and the crowd absolutely loving that.
Puncture, we think puncture.
The front takes not a beating. Yeah, my tyres are not lovely. I think I have a puncture or something.
And you can see a massive lock up there as he comes into the pit lane. The cheers of the crowd for the two Ferraris, who are now running 1 and 2, and Ted's down in the pit lane.
It's actually quite close to the pit lane, so it's done. The tyres look inflated, but I think that's the sidewall actually doing, keeping them, making them look inflated. A good stop, and he's away again.
Okay, Max, can confirm it's bodywork damage, loss of rear. It is not critical, so you are able to continue, but you will have a performance loss.
Last lap for Verstappen was 0.8 of a second slower than this man. Carlos Sainz, your race leader, will be back with Ted Kravitz in a few moments' time, because there's the DRS, that gap in the rear wing, opening once more for Charles Leclerc. Into Stowe they go, separated by about 4 car lengths.
Don't forget Lewis Hamilton in this. He's got the gap down to 4.8 to Charles Leclerc now. Faster last time around as well as the two Ferraris. They can't start squabbling too much. Hamilton has very much got them in his sights.
I was just about to say, the longer this goes on for Ferrari, the more it just affects the lap times by 3-4 tenths of a second, whilst they're both worried about either defending or trying to gain a lead. And Hamilton's just set a new fastest lap of the race, and he was 4 tenths of a second quicker than Carlos Sainz on lap 15. Should Ferrari want to pit Charles Leclerc now, he's pretty much in undercut territory, where he comes in, gets a fresher set of tyres, does a storming out lap, and by the time Carlos Sainz reacts, Leclerc is ahead after that round of pit stops.
What do I need to do to prove? I mean, I'm got my race now.
Copy. I will come back to you.
Yeah, it's nuts now. So Carlos Sainz is having to weave to keep his teammate behind him. They're going to pick Sainz this lap. So that's their solution to it, is to box and to cover off against an undercut, an early pit stop from the Mercedes, and it also releases Leclerc. Now we'll see what Leclerc's pace is. He needs to get on with it now after all that radio chat.
Sainz has picked up the pace a little bit, and it might be that Leclerc is now not a free pit stop ahead of his teammate, but look at this. He is barely a second clear of Lewis Hamilton. The gap now, as they go through Stowe, is down to less than a second.
Leclerc pits, and Hamilton leads the Grand Prix. If Lewis has got some time in his pocket, some lap time in his pocket, he can grab himself an undercut here on both Ferraris, but he's going to have to pump in some spectacular laps.
On a set of hard tyres that is not yielding and offering much grip to those that are running it in the early stages of a stint. That aside, Lewis Hamilton now leads the British Grand Prix.
Are we fighting? Or not? Just to know for the tyres.
So we are right on top of the pit window from Hamilton.
Yeah, so what does that mean? Do they let Charles Leclerc past, or as Charles Leclerc wants to know, am I expected to overtake him?
Yeah, if Lewis pitted now, he'd come out right in the middle of this battle. He'd be right there.
So this is not good enough. We are swapping the cars.
Copy.
Carlos Sainz letting Charles Leclerc past, and Leclerc getting the DRS as well to help him make that move very seamlessly indeed.
He's in the pits.
He is. Ted Kravitz, down to you.
Hard tyre, sorry to disappoint you all. It would have been great to put the soft tyre on and really go for it, but it's the offset. Oh no, that's a bit slow, a little bit slow. Was it the front left? The rear seemed okay, but there was a little bit of a delay at the front of the car.
Into Abbey, the two Ferraris out in front again. Daniel Ricciardo has it's down towards the rear, has been lapped, and Lewis Hamilton behind him.
Yeah, and the slow pit stop, unfortunately, that's the difference. Instead of coming out amongst the Ferraris, he's ended up a reasonable chunk behind, albeit with fresher, hard compound tyres on.
I tell you what, Esteban Ocon's losing out here. He's been overtaken by Verstappen. He's been overtaken by Schumacher. He's going to be overtaken by Magnussen as well. He has got problems, Esteban Ocon.
I have a problem, guys. I can't take it to the corners.
I'll tell you what, if he stops here, we'll get at least a virtual safety car.
Yes, we do have a safety car here at Silverstone because Esteban Ocon has stopped on the old pit straight. And you know how I said things were starting to come to Lewis Hamilton? Well, add this one to the list of opportunities opening up.
To be fair to Lewis, we got double pit stop under the safety car to get some cheap pit stops to put the soft tyres on, presumably.
Well, you would think so, yes. So in comes Carlos Sainz, in comes Lewis Hamilton. Charles Leclerc stays out.
The instruction is to give 10 car lengths to charge and some breathing space within 10 car lengths.
But guys, I'm under pressure from Hamilton. Please don't ask these things. Please. Let's say stop inventing. Stop inventing. I'm under pressure also.
He's obliged to stay within 10 car lengths. What they're saying is make it 10 car lengths and give Charles some breathing space.
But he has no breathing space because Hamilton is right on his tail.
Well, that's his point. Well, hang on a minute. Stop making this up.
He's driving for himself. Ferrari drivers expected to drive for the team.
Trust me, there's more to lose like that.
Copy that.
And he's rightly saying there is more to lose by doing that. Let's just go racing. And look, he's trying to nudge Charles Leclerc round the corner as we get racing again. And Sergio Perez isn't far off Lewis Hamilton because he could make a charge in that Red Bull. Hamilton's going to be under pressure as Leclerc leads Sainz, leads Hamilton, leads Perez into Abbey.
Yeah, Hamilton struggled for grip off the last corner for some reason. That's put Perez onto him. Perez may have a go up the inside of turn 4, and no, he's going around the outside and switches back as well. Will he get better traction off the corner? He's got the line then.
Oh, and off the track goes Charles Leclerc as Carlos Sainz retakes the lead at this British Grand Prix. Hamilton and Perez are going wheel to wheel. Perez is ahead of Hamilton. Back comes Sainz and Leclerc. Leclerc behind his teammate Carlos Sainz, who at the restart didn't think about the team, thought about himself and wants to win a race for the first time. It is Carlos Sainz from Charles Leclerc. Then comes Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton back down in fourth. Alonso, Norris, Vettel, Verstappen, Magnussen and Schumacher making up the top 10. What a restart this has been. And this is where Charles Leclerc could be quite vulnerable, not just to Perez, but to Hamilton too.
But Leclerc now will be starting to warm. Oh, he's gone wide. Leclerc's gone wide in left field.
And Hamilton taking a different line to Perez as well. So who's got it right? Coming out of the exit, we head now down towards Copse Corner at about 165 miles an hour. Through goes the Ferrari, through goes the Red Bull, through goes the Mercedes.
So Perez will have a great chance down Hanger Straight into Stowe Corner. Leclerc is beginning to warm up those used hard compound tyres. If Perez can get a good release off of Beckett, he'll get the slipstream, and he's got the DRS. We saw the rear wing open. This is going to be very close into Stowe Corner.
Yeah, Perez is catching Charles Leclerc. He takes him towards the inside. Perez on the inside. Charles Leclerc gives him just enough space. Can Perez squeeze past? They're going wheel to wheel towards Vale now. Who's going to be last on the brakes? Leclerc has that inside line. Perez goes off the track, cuts the chicane. Off goes Leclerc. Through goes Hamilton. Unbelievable stuff coming out of the final corner. Perez and Leclerc going for it. Hamilton says thank you very much. Another thing opens up for him.
Perez comes up the inside. He's taking the place back. Hamilton hangs it out around the outside. He's run out of road. Leclerc's still in the hunt as well.
So Leclerc trying to get that place back from Hamilton. He has. Hamilton was forced off the track. I wonder what will be said about that. But goes through Charles Leclerc, who's got DRS to pull away from Lewis Hamilton. And arriving on the scene, Fernando Alonso and Lando Norris as well. 5 cars separated by about 20 metres here. Perez goes through. Hamilton gets just blocked a little bit by Leclerc. Here comes Fernando Alonso down towards Cobbs.
Hamilton had to get out of the throttle. He was pushed to the outside there, and Alonso then couldn't make anything of that. And off we go again. Absolutely extraordinary.
And let's see what happened at the chicane.
So Perez cuts across the inside, doesn't actually take a place, loses a place. Nobody does keep the place against Leclerc, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So Perez, they might say he gained advantage by cutting the corner, because whilst he lost to Hamilton, he gained to Leclerc.
Just forcing Leclerc wide as well, and it just opened up beautifully for Lewis Hamilton there.
And Leclerc kept his position off Stowe corner by being all 4 wheels off the road as well.
And this is where Hamilton gets forced off the track, and he does go all off the track. Perez left him no space there whatsoever to stay on the track, and in doing so, Hamilton goes off and then Leclerc zips through.
I don't have a problem with Perez there in that particular corner. That's pretty much the racing line out there.
Sergio Perez is going faster than Carlos Sainz, but he's 3.5 seconds back. So you wonder, can he hold on? There goes Hamilton round the outside at Brooklands. No, can't get past there, but he forces Charles Leclerc wide, and now through Luffield, he's just inching ahead, urged on by the crowd. The roars of the crowd willing Hamilton back onto the podium, and he does move up into 3rd place. Can he hold that position though, going into Cobbs? They're going side by side, Leclerc and Hamilton through Cobbs. Wow, what great drama, what great entertainment. And there is Charles Leclerc still ahead of Lewis Hamilton.
Mega bravery from the pair of them, and full respect for how they kept the car under control through there. And Leclerc will not give up despite his tyres.
He might have to now though, because Hamilton's a lot closer, and DRS finally helping Hamilton get ahead and potentially stay ahead. And you can hear the roars of the crowd, whatever colour caps they're wearing. They are loving one British driver excelling against another, this time from Monaco, who's also excelling, but is also now under huge pressure from Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, and Lando Norris. Lando Norris is right in there as well as Leclerc struggles for grip.
These contenders all fighting for the maximum points they can get, whilst Verstappen has a bad day at the office, and that is brilliant. Car control from both Leclerc and from Hamilton. That's how you take Cobbs.
That was very brave indeed.
Brave and precise and absolutely exhilarating.
As Carlos Sainz then, just a few hundred metres to go.
So in Canada 2 weeks ago, a man making his 150th start won from pole position. Here at Silverstone, a fortnight later, a man making his 150th start from pole position is going to take victory. And for the first time in Formula One, Carlos Sainz is victorious. He wins the British Grand Prix. Sergio Perez, a brilliant recovery from him, takes second. Lewis Hamilton's on the podium for a 13th time here at Silverstone, a record-breaking 30th time, and Max Verstappen and Mick Schumacher fighting it all the way to the line behind Leclerc, Alonso and Norris. Verstappen comes home 7th, and Mick Schumacher takes his first points in Formula One ahead of Sebastian Vettel and Kevin Magnussen. What a British Grand Prix that was.
Both Hasses in the points. Hamilton does a fastest lap of the Grand Prix.
Wow. Vamos! Good job.
We did it. Yes! We did it. Yes! Vamos!
Bravo, Carlos.
Well, he's been making a habit of picking up the silver as Carlos. Today he had that golden touch. The second longest wait for a win in Formula One history, as the man with the longest wait for a win sprays him with the fizzy stuff. Carlos Sainz on top of the world, on top of the podium after a tip-top British Grand Prix.